Gonna start today off by looking in about putting this jack plate on there. I need to pop this open. Then once the jack plate's on there, we're gonna go ahead and put in this Minn Kota Raptor shallow water anchor. Here is our port jack plate bracket. So this is going to mount to our jack plate, and then the Raptor is going to then mount to that piece. But of course, as soon as we get into it, it's starting to rain. Probably gonna be another rainy day, even though it's sunny over there. But first, let me open this up to get the bolts that we need to mount this. All right, so this is the heavy duty one from C-Star. We're gonna need new bolts to go into those holes right there to go through the engine. So that's what we're looking to do. That's gonna be fun to get to that hole and that hole. Probably a good way of screwing this bolt from the other side and getting to it. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Oh yeah, there's a slot right here. You can slide the wrench in, boom, and hold that bolt. So that's that. Now these are what I'm gonna need to get. This is pretty much on every jack plate. You got to get new bolts because this thing is 1/2 inch, and then you probably got another inch for the actual bracket of the engine. So that engine bracket. So you really need like a 2-inch, 2.5 inch new bolt, stainless steel. So I'm gonna need to get 4 of those, and then I'll be able to reuse the transom bolts. So the bolts that are on there from the transom, I'll be able to reuse those to mount my jack plate. But then we need the bolts to go into here. So I think all I need are 2-inch, maybe 2.5s, just as long as there's not a shank that's going to not be able to mount to this. Now, as far as, looks like this goes all the way down to there. So the bolt head is going to have to be here, and the nuts are going to have to be on the back. There's no getting around that. You can't put the nut on this side, so the nut's got to go on the outside. But this is looking pretty clean, and we are going to need to run this all the way through the boat and then mount this switch. So there is that. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? Where is the rocker switch for this? Because we have a switch in the boat that is not, it says jack plate. So sweet. So I'll be able to actually put this switch in where that other miscellaneous switch is for the washdown. I could put this switch in there in its place, and we can use the jack plate right there. This is not even lighted. I don't know why they've got an illuminated. No, it's not illuminated. Never mind. I was looking at it. It says shine. But yeah, I can put this on the dash itself. So I don't even need that. That'll make that real easy. But this has to go from the back to the front. Basically, just this wire here is what needs to go all the way to the front. And the rest of it's going to be in the back. So that need to be ran in the boat. I do not know if this one has anything that has to be ran in the boat yet, so let me go ahead and flop this thing down and look at that, because while it's raining, I mean, it's not raining that bad, but I just don't want to get the engine off the boat and have it hanging on the forklift and it be a torrential downpour. I'm not trying to deal with that this morning. It's not even this morning, it's like 11, but yeah, let me open this up and see if this is just wireless or if I need to run another wire. That way I can run both of these wires and have that to do kind of after the fact. Well, it looks like this is the only thing that it has on here is just this controller, but something that's odd to me is, like, there's no paperwork in here, and there's no lanyard. Like, this was just laying in here like this. So when I pulled this out, like, there's no like lanyard to strap this. Like, I mean, that's pretty small to lose. And this is just a pump there. This is just the, wait a minute, that's the top of it. So down here is going to be the bottom. That's that. Nothing under there. This is where the bracket goes. These are just steering hoses or hydraulic hoses. Nothing there. Nothing there. So I'm not sure. There it is. I just opened this biscuit upside down. That's what it is. So here it is. This is what I was looking for. I was like, where's all the hardware? So this just has a 3M mount. You just mount that somewhere on the dash and then your controller sits in there. So this is all of this. It can stay there. It's that, it's that. So yeah, it's raining. So let's go ahead and go get our bolts for that. Need about 2-inch. And then we will come back and hopefully it's not raining anymore and we'll be able to actually pull the engine. I got the forklift ready over there, but we'll be able to pull the engine and get both of these mounted today. Hopefully get this ran through the boat, and then that way tomorrow we can start wet sanding, compounding, and be cleaning up the boat. This is the situation, the part of the process that's nice. This thing's big. This is the 10-footer, so this thing is big. We wanted to get the 10-footer because out in the bay it's mainly all 8 feet, so this should be able to go down and hold the boat into place looking at lobster holes and stuff. So we wanted to go with the 10-footer, even though this thing is going to be massive. I'm gonna have to change this rigging tube out, but I should have enough to be able to pull the engine back. These steering hoses are obviously not going to be long enough, so I need to pull this steering cylinder. I just set these in here, so I've already taken this off once. So I just need to take these bolts here off. Once I get these bolts off, I can pull this cylinder off, undo these. They're just 3/4. Oh no, I'm probably gonna need, no, these will work, So then I'll be able to reuse these bolts with the jack plate, stick the jack plate on here. This engine, yep, I want to probably clean up around the this bottom paint. I'm probably going to clean up around there as long as the jack plate. I don't want the jack plate sitting against that bottom paint, but I'll probably have to sand that off a little bit. This engine is mounted on the 3rd hole, and it appears to be like, I mean, that's pretty much right on the money where we want it as far as the water coming off the bottom. It's gonna be right here. Looks like, what is that? Bunch of junk around on the engine. No, that's steering fluid pouring down all over the place from the steering. So that's still a problem, but that's not our problem as of right now. As of right now, I just need to take this off, stick it in there, take these bolts out, hang the engine. I'm just gonna move back with the engine a little bit on the forklift, leave it hanging on the forklift, put my jack plate on here, and I'll probably put the jack plate probably in the middle, because that's where this is, maybe even up a little bit, because we'll be able to move it down. So I'll mount the jack plate, and then once the jack plate's mounted, then I'll mount it here. Oh my goodness, this steering cylinder's making a mess. Alright, I think I got a legitimate new problem. So if you look in here, it's all full of sludge and stuff, like all real bad, right? So now let me go show you something. so you can see what's up. Wipe my finger off here. So these engines should turn pretty easily. So that bracket right there, this bracket, these engines, so I can push that over. I can lean this whole engine one way or the other. That bracket should spin. Over here on our engine, looks like we've got a whole new situation, because I should be able to do the same thing with this bracket. There might have been so much water in this thing for so long that now it's seized. So let me show you. I'll try and move this and you'll see it won't move at all. I might have to get the hammer out and kind of bust this thing free maybe. Hey, quick reminder for those of you that missed it, while we restore this Boston Whaler 220 Dauntless, you can get 25% off any BAB shirt or buff while supplies last at bornagainboatingshop.com. You would think that with all that fluid in there that there's no way for that to seize, but it looks like it is. I have heard of using 50/50 acetone and ATF, so this is hydraulic fluid. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna give me some acetone. I'm gonna squirt some acetone in there and see if the acetone and this has a reaction, because it should come out the bottom here like that. And what it is it's heat and corrosion. So that sludge is whenever the fluid gets so hot that it will create that, it'll sludge up like that. You can see the sludge. So let me see what I can do about freeing this up, because if I can't free this up, then I might as well de-rig this biscuit and then put it over there on the rack. But while I got it hanging here, before I get too wild, let me see if I can't get this thing split. Look at this, look at all the ATF down in there. All that needs to be cleaned out too. This is always something on a used boat. But yeah, let me squirt some acetone in there and see if it'll free up. This right here, I'm gonna see if I can't get this thing to spin, because this is where it's all gonna come out the bottom. If I can get that thing to spin, that's what's really holding it up. You can see the rust around there. So I'm gonna try and take this and kind of get it to, see if I can't get this piece to spin. If I can get this thing to spin, a lot of this junk's gonna come out. So I'm gonna PB blaster it, kind of clean it up and see if I can get this thing to release. Alright, well, I am having zero luck with this engine right here. While I was farting around, I went ahead and cleaned this rub rail. Looks like I will be able to save this rub rail. All I did was, I mean, look at it right here. So you can see this, all that black that comes off. All I did was wipe this whole thing down with acetone. I just took a rag, ketchup bottle, poured acetone in the rag and wiped this down. So I'll be able to put some woody wax on that and clean this rub rail up, so I won't have to change that. But yeah, this engine, I got to pull this engine off. Now I'll show you what we're going to do. So we got a 300 here, we got a 300 here. That 300 does not have a lower unit. This one does, but these are both 2012s. Here's another 300 and another 300. So we've got 4 300s that I need to basically scab together. So this one's got a new lower unit. These are newer. So these are newer. The brackets don't look as good. See, that one's not that bad. This one here is probably the winner. So
It's just all this paint. I don't know why Mercury's do this, but I'm not about to get into that. Yeah, so these turn just like a dream, like they should. So I think this one's going to be our winner. I think I'm going to take this engine and stick it on there. Oh, go up under here. What's this look like? That one does not look the best. This one's covered up so I can't see. This one is a port, so that's a port lower unit. That's my starboard. I like this one the best, so I think I'm gonna scoop up this one possibly. All I want to do for this, just to be sure what I'm going to do. Oh, I got no holes there, got no holes there. Let me pop this thing off right here. Take a look back here, see what that steering pretty good. Oh, I see what happened here. We got a broken bolt. That's why that didn't come off. So I'm gonna have to take a punch and punch that out to inspect that. But between these two, one of these is gonna go on there, and then probably gonna be this one, just because I don't know, somebody plugged a hole there. They must have been, not sure why they would plug one hole on this side, no holes on that side. That's kind of weird that it's got a plug there, but who knows about that. So out of this one or this one of these is going to go on there. Most likely going to be this one, but I'm not 100%. And then that lower unit will have to go on there. So I don't know. I'm gonna make a 300 out of the 4 that we have, and the other engine I'm just gonna stick on this rack to get it out of the way. Probably just stick it right here on the rack to get it out of my way, and that way I can at least put the jack plate and the Raptor on today, and then this engine situation will have to be done later. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of clean this up with some Contactor degreaser. Of course, rain clouds just came in, so I'm going to drill these holes out to get with the drill bit, get any of the old sealant out of there. And then also I need to decrease around here, clean all this up, and then I can put those bolts through, hang my jack plate stencil around where the bottom pane is so I can grind that bottom pane off. I don't want any of that on there. I'll sand it off, and then we can mount the jack plate. We're going to be using 4200, and we'll have this thing at least on here. We'll figure out the engine situation after the fact, but I do want to at least get the jack plate mounted. We could even put the Raptor on there as well. I need to plug that hole and get a new through hole here, so let's see how far we get. If it starts raining, then I really am out of options. I'm going to be out here with doing some acetone. I might even just work this whole rub rail. A couple of spots that I'm going to need to pop the insert out, so I need to get in here, be able to roll this thing out. Hold on, I should be able to get it. Yeah, so I can pop this thing out and see if I can't get those screws out. Then I'll put some new screws in there, get this thing stuck back on, and then I mean, you can tell the difference pretty hard. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but you can see right here what this looks like and all that black, and then boom, right there. So you can see the hard black line down there, and here's this. And then once we hit this with the woody wax, it's going to look clean, but mainly with that acetone's just taking out all this dead. I mean, it's only rubber, so just doing that, and then the woody wax is going to kind of revitalize it, give it some oil and basically moisture, get it back in there. But yeah, that's a hard line right there. Yeah, so I'll either do the rub rail, or I'll start wet sanding maybe up in the front where I can put my nav lights on, I don't want to do anything back here because I got to work back here, but I might even work the outside. I don't know. If it starts raining real hard, then that's what I'm going to do. But for now, drill these out, clean all this up with degreaser, and we'll get our jack plate mounted up here. Well, it is still raining out, and so sometimes when life gives you jack plates, you have to make wet sanding. So I've been wet sanding this whole time. This is basically on hold, and that's basically on hold. And I mean, I can't really take this camera out there just because I don't want it to get ruined, but I've been running this one over here. I've got most of the rub rail. I've got a quarter of the rub rail sanded with the 1000 grit, and I've also got basically the half of the top cap between the rub rail and the non-skid. I've got that wet sanded, so change the battery. I'm gonna go back out there and keep wet sanding as much as I can. Actually, yeah, I got plenty of wet paper, so yeah, we're good to go. Well, it is definitely dark out now. Good thing the radio works and the amp, so everything's pretty good. I got the rub rail completely sanded, so all this is sanded, wet sanded all the way around the rub rail. I got this front locker cleaned out pretty well. I still need to get those spots off. I don't know, I mean, I've been trying a little bit of bleach, a little bit of wet sand, so those are pretty embedded. I need to work on those a little bit more, but the inside of this locker looks way better now. She's beautiful. So yeah, rub rail all the way around the cap is wet sanded. The rub rail is wet sanded, so pretty much that whole section's good to go. I did not wipe the rub rail with acetone yet. All I do is I go to the Dollar Tree, get you one of these little ketchup bottles or serving bottles or dispensers or whatever they call them. I can't remember. They're like $2 for a 2-pack. Don't go to like anywhere else to get them. Go to the Dollar Tree. They're the cheapest. Get that, put acetone in there. You can squirt it on a rag, save you a lot, and then we'll just wipe this whole rub rail down with the acetone, and then we'll hit it up with some woody wax or something. But at least now I can cut the whole boat around that without getting black all over the pad and spreading it all over the boat. I think I'm pretty much done for tonight though, because it's dark, can't see anything. Except for this camera makes a sunset look nice. But yep, I think that's it for tonight. Tomorrow we can come in and actually be able to put our jack plate on, because did not get the jack plate put on. It just would not stop raining, so when it rains, good time to do some wet sanding.